My friends, the great experiment.
Prodigy.
Prodigy. Hidden. Trick.
Would you look at that?
The greatest trick.
And you people, you're all astronauts on some kind of Star Trek.
The greatest trick.
Welcome to Greatest Trek. It's a new Star Trek podcast from the makers of The Greatest Generation. I'm Adam Pranica.
I'm Ben Harrison. Oh, I hit the post on that. It was like taking a sip of my bubble water as you were saying your intro, and I was like, ooh, this may have been a terrible timing choice on my part. I have to process and swallow this bubble water just in time to say my name, and I did it.
I mean, you've said it before, you've prioritized your consumption of bubble water above all other concerns.
Oh yeah, this is the most important thing in my life by a country mile.
Yeah.
Happiest day of my life, the day that I got a soda siphon, not the day that my first child was born or my wedding or some bullshit like that.
I saw the can rise into frame as I started the show. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Good moment for that. Let's see what happens. Hopefully the intro will be edit-free. Mm-hmm. And it was.
It was amazing. It was like like an old-time radio disc jockey, you know? Nailing the intro to the song.
I think old-time radio disc jockeys would be hammering a cigar and a whiskey on mic, right?
Yeah.
We've had shows like that before.
That's true. I mean, bubble water is my cigar and whiskey.
It is.
You know? For what is a bubble water if not the vice of 2025?
Yeah. As Miriam bubble water bars and clubs open up around our major cities.
Yeah. Our youth's bloodstreams, are they too carbonated?
Yeah.
Too few people are asking the question.
You need another thing to worry about, for sure.
Well, big week, Adam. We're not even halfway through our week's recording schedule, so I'm kind of eager for the fray. Do you want to get into it? You want to jump into this thing?
I would love to, Ben. One of many two-part episodes this season. Is it the last? I doubt it.
I wouldn't look ahead to find out something like that. Come on. I hate spoilers.
Star Trek Prodigy, Season 2, Episode 15. It's called Ascension, Part 1.
You know the greatest danger facing us is an irrational fear of the unknown.
On my mark, go fast.
Start with a Dal's log, and he's talking about we're all different, and we've met many friends along the way, but our journey is coming to an end is the tone of this thing. And we're kind of cutting around the ship. We're reminded of what friends we met along the way. For example, Bribble, the Tribble thing.
Man, Dal used to be cool. Now he's all like empowerment journey. Maybe the destination wasn't the point, but it was the friends we made along the way. What happened to you, Dal?
He went hard Starfleet at some point, and it's kind of crushing, you know?
I mean, who's the rebel figure on the show now? It's probably Chaos Murph, right?
Chaos Murph is the one that gives no fucks. The one that is and become toilet, you know? I feel like if you'd asked me last season who was the most likely to become a toilet, I would have said Dal. Fucking nasty freak.
It feels like every episode we get just a notably beautiful shot composition of starships, and we start right off with that here beneath Dal's log.
I love the mama whale and baby of the Voyager. Hey! On the Protostar.
I thought I had it in mind just how disparate their sizes were, but I really didn't come close in my mind of how much smaller the Protostar is. This is like that thing how you can fit the fuselage of a 737 inside the engine of a 777.
Whoa.
Like it's that kind of disparity. It really looks like you could fit Protostar inside one of the nacelles.
Damn.
It's so wee.
So
and the Voyager is so, hey!
Yeah. It also looked like they cleaned it up a little bit. It didn't have all the like rust and scarring of having been in the desert for 10 years.
When did they do that?
I don't know.
When did they do that?
I guess in between last episode and this one.
Incredible!
Anyways, home isn't always a place, Adam. Sometimes it's your friends.
Sometimes it's side-sitting next to a romantic interest. One of the jump arounds to the scenes that we get during this log is not only Dal and Gwyn sitting in the lunchroom, like normal people do, across from each other. You get the alternate, the side-sitting of Chakotay and Janeway, suggesting that they're pretty close.
Something's up.
Yeah.
I like the little shot of the Binars fixing the computer weapon on the protostar.
A weapon that has been neutralized
Yeah.
due to an antivirus patch that they downloaded. So that's not going to be a problem. They make that pretty clear.
Yeah. We cut into a flight test of the Nova Squadron gang practicing what looks to be an incredibly dangerous and probably illegal maneuver called the Boothby Supernova.
Boothby, I've heard of you.
I should hope so.
Right, we're igniting coolant instead of plasma,
Right.
which makes it distinct from the Culvered starburst, right?
Yeah, but it still seems bad, right? Like this means that these children are in fact evil and do not deserve to wear that uniform.
I mean, it's why you do it in a simulator. You don't do it in real life.
Yeah. But why even spend the time practicing if it's so forbidden?
It makes you a better pilot.
Yeah. Dal wanders into this room, and I liked how the arch was inverted from the perspective of everyone else. They cut the simulation, and I guess gravity is not on in the same way for them as it is for Dal, because they float down lightly, and there's some debate about this. Some of the Novas are not psyched that a non-Nova is here to practice with them, especially since he showed up late. Like, what are you doing?
What is this?
Hey, sorry I'm late. Though it looks like you started without me.
Computer end program.
And Majel is the one who invited him, but Majel doesn't get to feel all of the complicated feelings of having been a person to extend this invitation that a human being would,
Yeah.
Like everyone dumps on her for like, oh, you invited Dal? What the hell? I thought this is our thing. Magel's not going to feel any of that.
Majel has seen him in action in the field, and on her say-so, I guess he gets to practice with Nova Squadron.
Is Majel the captain of Nova Squadron? Like, were there to be ranks of them?
They do rock pips, and I think
Yeah.
Majel has 4, and I don't
Yeah.
think any of the others have 4, so
Yeah.
yeah. But I don't know how it works. Like, is it like being like a team leader in Starship Troopers where you can get that stripped away from you just by fiat? Some impulsive drill instructor decides that you're not the leader anymore, and that's just it?
Like inviting someone who isn't in the squad to join in on squad stuff?
Yeah, clearly you've demonstrated poor judgment in this respect, and give me that pip.
Yeah, it seems like that's what Majel has left herself open to.
Yeah. We cut over to 6 Bay where Zero is getting bad news from Dr. Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Zero and Jenkum seem to be sort of inseparable all of a sudden. Zero has been scanned, and this body that Zero has been inhabiting is breaking down. That encounter with a super tribble accelerated a process that was inevitable, and Zero's going to have to say goodbye to this thing at some point soon.
Your understanding of the problem seems better than mine, because I'm listening to Dr. Mark describe it, and just through dialogue, like, I also understood the problem to be over time the body is going to degrade.
Right.
Like all bodies do. So, like, that in and of itself, not distinct from, like, a person having a body, period. But also, Dr. Mark in this scene is like, yeah, we can't heal your body, and if you keep hurting it, we can't heal all of the new things you hurt. So we're just going to give up. We're just going to give up on the body you have, and you might as well build a new one. Do you think that if Zero were just a little bit more careful about bonking into things, Zero could remain in the body more or less indefinitely as it degrades, as all bodies do?
I mean,
this is what's confusing.
Yeah, I don't get it. It seemed like a we have a comparable golem technology, but this ain't it. So, like, you know, it's like you just pulled your Saab into a place that services BMWs. And
I would love it so much if toward the end of this season they wheel in a chamber with a golem body. They pop open the frosty lid, and it's Captain Picard's golem body, of which they made many.
We had a couple of spares kicking around at the Daystrom Institute.
Yeah.
This one had your name on it.
Captain Picard chose the one with 2 fewer ribs as the others.
Yeah, you'll notice this one's an inch shorter than the base model.
How about Zero taking this like a death sentence, though? Like, I'll never feel anything again with my mouth or fingers. All right, cool it, Zero.
I'll never experience something ramming against the back of my throat the way I like it.
I knew this day would come, but it is no less devastating.
But Dr. Mark like gestures towards Jankum Pog, and he's like, hey, this guy who won't leave you alone in any room, happens to be a qualified engineer who could, through some effort, make you a new body if you wanted one. And guess what? We could also program that body to feel things.
Yeah.
Things that you like and things that you hate.
So it's not bad news, but also the choice by Zero to select Jankum over the Daystrom Institute to manufacture this thing is utter fucking madness.
Z, you're not thinking straight.
If I needed any kind of surgery at all, and my choice was great friend to me, Benjamin R. Harrison, and a qualified surgeon of any kind, I'm not going to choose the friend in the room, is what I'm saying.
Come on, you trust me, right?
But what's Zero supposed to do? Because Jankum's in the room. Zero can't say no. This is fucked up by Dr. Mark.
Oh, so you think Zero is saying this out of deference to Jankum's tender ego?
Like, hey, Jankum, why don't you leave the room while I can make a private medical decision?
Yeah. I mean, HIPAA has just left the galaxy at this point.
Yeah.
Would you look at that?
This gets Zero optimistic again. Zero, who was extremely bummed hearing about their decrepit and decaying body. The hope of a new body sounds all right.
I mean, like, I would understand if somebody was like, hey, your heart is fucked and we're going to have to give you an artificial heart. Like, I can see the emotional toll that would take, but hey, your artificial heart is fucked and we're going to put a new, better artificial heart in its place.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like the bad news that Zero is treating it as.
Are you sad about upgrades of any kind? That's not my reaction.
Yeah. We cut over to Chakotay and Janeway getting ready for a Starfleet debrief. And we've already seen cleaned up Chakotay, back ready for duty Chakotay, but he's a little nervous. Not too nervous to kind of mac on Janeway a little bit.
I mean, why wouldn't he? I think the implication here is that he's getting ready for work at her apartment.
Oh.
Ergo,
You can speak to us normally.
they have slept together, and this is the next day?
Wow.
Is it too big of a leap?
I didn't do that math, but I like the way that maths.
Not the welcome home I expected.
I thought he was just showing up to get his new, like, official comm badge because his was out of style or whatever.
I don't know. I think he's keeping stuff in her drawers and so forth. And you saw how great lunch was going in the previous scene.
It's true.
You know, when you begin a day side sitting, you know you're going to end up in their bathtub a little later most times.
Sounds great.
So Jellico gets on the FaceTime with them and seems really cool. He's like, attaboy, Chakotay, really glad to have you back, in the command structure. That's great. And they're like, cool. Well, anyways, we're going to get the protostar to Tars Lamora so that these kids can find it in the recent past, and everything will go back to normal, and, Gwyn won't die, et cetera, et cetera. And Jellico's like, let me stop you there. That's not the plan anymore. We're passing this off to temporal investigations. They're going to work on this issue. You guys all have to come home. You've gotten too close to this mission. It's too personal for you.
I like that he says that instead of what has to be the real reason, which is you guys kind of have a track record of getting ships stolen. So given the high dollar value of Protostar, I think we're going to want you to bring that one back to Earth.
Yeah.
So that we can deal with the problem.
Don't stop. Don't pass go.
I don't want to talk about it. Get it done.
And this is a bummer, but very understandable. And yet they get off the phone and Janeway turns to Chakotay and Tysus is like, all right, what are my options as far as not doing the thing he just ordered me to do? I like a captain asking for those kind of options from their crew.
It doesn't seem like Tysus would ever be the type to be like, okay, cool with Rogue.
Yeah.
Chakotay, as an ex-Maquis, absolutely.
Maquis?
But when he does the anti-heel turn, like the square turn,
the face turn
into being a company man, like that kind of ends the conversation right then and there. They're gonna follow Jellico's orders.
I was shocked by this. Shocked to hear it coming out of Chakotay's mouth.
I mean, this is what happens when you're 10 years alone on some planet fucking fish every day. You finally get into a committed relationship and you want to stop taking risks.
You know, is that what Chakotay was doing all those 10 years? He had programmed up hologram Janeway, like put up as much of a fight as actual Janeway would, and let me just try every iteration of the moves until I figure out the moves that work.
Yeah, he Groundhog Day'd her. That's what he did.
You speak French.
He doesn't want to go back in time and create a world in which his pencils are perpetually snapping.
No.
So that's the plan. We cut back to the lunchroom where the proteges are having lunch and have just learned that the ships have been ordered back to Earth and the mission is over, and also probably their kind of waltz into an academy admission situation is over too. Like Jellico specifically said that these kids are going to get reevaluated by dispassionate third parties.
I'm really glad you recapped this part because the details of it all fell away when I was watching Janko Pog eat grapes. He eats grapes by holding the bunch up to his face and putting that bunch into his mouth.
Yeah.
He's like Denzel Washington eating oranges by biting into them like apples. This is totally crazy to me.
Yeah.
Why would anyone do that?
It seems like a way to get a lot of stems and sticks in your mouth, right?
Yeah, because there is often, when you twist a grip off of its stem, there's often like little stemmy pieces where like the nipple connects to the grape stem.
Yeah. And, you know, as Snoop Dogg famously said about eating grapes, no seeds, no stems, no sticks.
I mean, maybe that's what Janko Pog likes. Maybe that's what really does it for him in the lunchroom.
Does the replicator have a way to make the sticks a pleasant part? And therefore, you can just eat them like an apple.
So if you had a bunch of grapes connected by like sour straw candy.
Yeah, like it's the is it cake of everything, basically. Like even something like a bunch of grapes can be made entirely edible.
I kind of like the task of peeling an orange.
Yeah.
And taking grips off of the stem. Like, I like giving my hand something to do like that. I think to live in a future where all of your food products have no waste at all, where you're eating the paper of the hamburger that it was wrapped in because it too is delicious and edible. I don't know if I want that.
You get like a crawdad boil and dump them all out on the big table covered in butcher paper, and you're just popping entire crawdads into your mouth, and then the butcher paper,
and then the table itself.
Yeah, it seems fucked up.
It's like everything is a bread bowl to eat at that point.
I mean, people say that Star Trek is a utopian vision of the future, but what this theory presupposes is maybe it's a nightmare.
Do you eat the whole bread bowl?
No, I don't think so. I think too gross and soggy.
You know the best part of the bread bowl? You know when you carve a jack-o'-lantern, you carve around the stem, you pull up, and there's like an entire like root ball
Yeah.
that you then slice off with your knife. The jack-o'-lantern root ball of the bread bowl is my favorite part. That cork of bread
Yeah.
is the best. That's the only part I want.
It's sopped up some of the clam chowder, but it's not saturated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bread cork.
I think I probably haven't had a bread bowl in 15 years.
There was a time when they used to serve these in the corporate lunchroom. And I feel like I would have one like once every week. Just a disgusting amount of chowder and bread bowl.
So much bread.
It's too much.
Yeah.
We need to score a lot of Latin fast.
Licensed businessmen.
Well, there's a new ship. She's got the right name. She's got the right name. Now, you remember that, you hear?
The gang is kind of making peace with this, like, okay, well, we've had our fun, but it's now time to go to college and get serious about our futures or whatever, when Gwyn is called to the bridge rather urgently, and she heads up there, and it's an unexpected call from Daddy, who got a hold of, I guess, their transmitter from a shuttle that they left back on Solum.
Do you think there should have been some more explanation for this guy and his deal?
Yeah, like, hey, can you mute it and I'll just catch you guys up for a sec?
Because he seems nice, but I think this Janeway should presuppose that he's not, right? That he's bad?
I mean, Iltharan should have a reputation that precedes him.
Yeah, but this guy's so feeble and scared sounding.
Yeah.
Oh, Gwyn, I need to talk to you.
You should see all the bad things that Asencia is doing. I love that he has visual aids for his his call.
Yeah, how about Asencia? She's moving on up. I just got to say, like, she was ranked pretty low on Voyager A, and now she's running an entire world. She's dissolved its government, installed herself as the queen bee, and now she's spoiling for war because she is building an absolute fleet of ships under these two domes on the surface of the planet, and no one can figure out how she's building ships this fast. What's going on under those domes?
Time moves much faster in there, and this Gen Z girl boss in a mini has dissolved the council. There's no check on her power.
No, it's pretty great. She's getting stuff done.
Nobody knows like how she would have the technology to accelerate time, because even future Solum that tried to destroy the Federation, wouldn't have had that kind of tech. So
yeah,
he is just finishing his threefold poster board presentation to them when a sort of off-screen explosion knocks him away from the camera, and Asencia steps onto the call to twirl her mustache and, taunt Janeway, essentially.
I'm not your ensign anymore.
I love that we don't go there. Like, we stay on Voyager A and watch the view screen and the action that happens within it.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. I don't want to cut over to where Dad is.
Yeah.
It preserves the mystery of it.
Fuck that. But she basically says, like, your time is up. Now I'm going to come get all of you. We find out that something big is heading for the Voyager. Hey,
Ben? If Asencia had a brother, would he be Ascension? Part 1? If he was born first. And then Asencia is part 2. Born after Ascension.
And if that brother had an evil twin separated at birth, he would be Asencioff.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, something big incoming. Very strong Star Trek 2009 cold open vibes to this shot of the Dreadnought crewed evil ship coming into their reality space.
As ship designs go, doesn't it make sense if you were to go through a portal in a ship, you wouldn't want the body section where all the people are to go through first. You're sending the tentacles in first.
Claws first.
And if anything fucked up happens to the tentacles, you're like, oh,
Pull back.
Maybe I don't want to go in there. But when you start with the tentacles.
Yeah. Does this portal have teeth?
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to go in easy at first.
I kind of feel like more starship design should follow this rule.
What was the portal? What were they coming through? Like, because was it just that they were cloaked, or were they like reality shifting?
I don't know. I don't think we'll ever know.
Well, this ship has a keen eye on finding out whether there are toilets on Voyager A, and so it's shooting a beam at them to see if it can get a core sample, but initially it's just drawing down their power, and, you know, we get a report that their shields are dropping. There's also tons of torpedoes flying at the protostar.
And when you're caught in the tractor beam, Voyager A can't break free because this beam is made of a technology they're not familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
And the dreadnought that's the captain is strong.
I don't even know why the scientists make them.
Yeah, that dreadnought has so many wires.
I know.
You
Yeah.
know that guy's souped up when he has that many wires attached to him.
He absolutely is. Yeah.
So, yeah, hologram Janeway calls in an SOS to Janeway Actual and
Send him back to me.
share the wealth.
I'll do anything to have him back. Including work with Asencia to make this whole thing happen.
Yeah, so Chakotay volunteers to take the protostar and bug out so it doesn't get destroyed. And he's going to take the proteges with him. Seems like everything Jellico ordered is just like completely off the table given this new escalation.
He would be so upset by this.
Yeah.
So disappointed.
I mean, like, are they out of range? They could be like, updating him about what's going on in
That's
real
too
time.
Slow. That's way too slow.
You're telling me Tysus doesn't have a free hand to like fire up a FaceTime and just be like, hey, by the way, I know I was in that meeting earlier. We were like under attack by a totally insane vessel that is far overpowered from what we thought Solum could launch. This may change some of the math.
You don't understand, Ben. Tysus is reading gauges. Gauges which are telling him that the shields are dropping.
Some of us find gauges to be incredibly entertaining.
Yeah. He's doing a great job.
They head down to go to the protostar and bump into the Novas along the way. This is when Grom, one of the Nova Squadron members, gets injured. And pretty quickly it's decided that Zero is going to take her to 6 Bay and Dal is going to get upgraded to Nova Squadron in Grom's place because the Novas are going to go be like fighter pilots in this conflict.
You see it all the time in like a war movie context. Like someone falls and I guess I'll pick up their machine gun. Or like in the Pearl Harbor movie, like I guess I'm the chef, but I'm going to shoot the anti-aircraft gun because I'm the only one left. That's Dal here.
Yeah. I was a little unclear on when we cut away from the flight training practice earlier, whether Dal had actually done some practice with them or not. But like one of the Novas is like, dude, do you even know how to fly at this point? I was like, I guess he did not actually get in any practice time with them.
The dialogue they cut is that character going, yeah, because we all decided we didn't want you practicing with us and we shut down the program. We don't want to play with you.
The greatest trick
Is yet to come.
Chakotay and Gwyn and Jankum and I guess Murph, they go over to the protostar. Gwyn is the number one.
They're going to need a toilet over there.
Indeed. They do some fancy flying. They're dodging a bunch of beams coming off of this big Solum ship. And in 6 Bay, Zero is trying to help Dr. Tusk, but is, physically like not as capable as Zero once was. So it's a bit of a slog.
Do you think Zero is auditioning bodies in this scene? Like again, like in a wartime context, you're doing like the lipstick on the forehead to triage the patients.
Right.
And Zero's like, oh, you seem to have a strong body. If you were to live through this experience.
I don't think this one is going to make it, Dr. Tusk. What? I just bumped my head. Engineering. The attack hadn't even started. I was just under a panel and I stood up too quickly. What are you talking about?
Is there an orifice I could stick myself through to then puppet this body around? Like the dark secret of Zero is that Zero could have any body they want. It's just how dark Zero is going to go.
Oh, man. I like that Dark Zero now joins Chaos Murph in our, in our team.
Yeah.
So the Novas take off in their fighters and systems are failing all over Voyager A. And one of the consequences of this is that they can't get a lock on the weapon systems of the Vanakot ship. So the suggestion Dal makes is that the Nova Squadron flyers can go in close and get coordinates to like transmit back to the ship.
I hate being this guy. Just generally, but specifically, try to imagine you're a kid and you're watching this show and you're hearing how the Voyager A can't target the weapon system on this mystery ship, even though the weapon system itself is shooting a very straight beam at Voyager A. And we see at the end, when Voyager A finally shoots its torpedoes, it basically rides that beam all the way in to where it needs to go. I wish instead the target source they needed to power was like on the backside of this thing or something, so that the torpedoes could fly an arc.
Oh, I like
that. That isn't so obviously like shooting where they've been shot from, which is what it ends up being.
Yeah.
But it's for kids, and this is the way it's got to be, right? Like, it's sort of the ultimate retort.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I was kind of thinking of it in terms of like calling in artillery fire. You're like looking at a map, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know exactly what they were targeting. I'm not trying to defend it, Adam. I think you're right. I'm just.
Because once these torpedoes start riding this beam, I'm like, couldn't you have shot those a long time ago?
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you just guess that that's where you need to be shooting?
The thing I went to immediately was I was reading something the other day that mentioned firing solution, and I was like, what is a firing solution? You hear it all the time in like a submarine movie or whatever.
Or like how to make a workplace better by letting someone go. That's the firing solution.
Yeah. So I read the Wikipedia article about it, and it's like there are like computers on ship because like they're shooting stuff over the horizon a lot of the time if you're on like a battleship. And so
if that's what you believe,
you're accounting for like the curvature of the earth, the like roll of the ship on the waves, the height of the guns, like given the ballast on the ship, like
a lot of variables.
There's so many variables, and it's like it's literally like a solution to a huge math problem that they are doing.
Is there a recoil to a missile launch too that the ship has to absorb if it's floating?
Oh man, I think it depends, because I think that like some of those deck guns are shooting shells, so that's gotta have recoil. But like, I feel like you also see those things where like they like something like drops and then like the fuel engages or whatever. Yeah, it's delightful. I mean, it's really fun stuff, and maybe that's what's going on here. With Voyager.
I need to get this month's issue of Star Trek Jane's Defense Weekly to understand how the quantum torpedoes get targeted in situations like this.
People say print is dead, but they're still putting that thing out every week.
Jane's is always going to be on paper.
So yeah, they're like trying to go get some coordinates, but a bunch of fighters get released from the Vanakot ship. Were these Dreadnought, these fighters?
Oh.
Because you know how he can like turn into a big gun and stuff?
I didn't think that they were, but I really, really like them. And I really liked how they flew because they didn't do a lot of spinny things.
Mm-hmm.
They flew around space like mosquitoes. Like they always sort of looked like they were in the same orientation.
Yeah.
And that's what made them look so drone-ish.
They were scary.
They did a great job with this design.
And there's, 5 or 6 of them per Nova fighter. And
Yeah.
the Nova fighters are kind of swamped. So they recommend that the Protostar go get the coordinates instead so that they can kind of get all these drone fighters away from the action. And so the Protostar goes in, getting danger close to the Vaunacott ship now, but they get the coordinates and they send them to Voyager, whose shields are down to 2%. And the torpedoes get launched. I was really wanting the fucking definitive Janeway calling for fire moment here.
I thought it was a good fire.
Yeah, but she says fire torpedoes. I want it to just be fire, you know?
We've heard it. She's got a great fire.
She's got a great one, and I wanted to just fucking relish in my fire.
Fire. Fire. Fire at will.
I mean, you know what I wanted? I wanted her and Chakotay to fire at the same time.
So romantic when that happens.
Yeah.
You two could be onto something.
So the torpedoes are heading in, and Cable's dreadnought on the bridge of this juggernaut ship coordinates all of the drone fighters to create a shield that protects its delicate suck beam from the torpedoes. But it seems like the explosion that results still like breaks the beam and stops the bad thing from happening. But it creates like a huge amount of warp lightning.
Yeah, you're right about the effect we get here being a little confusing as its consequence. Like, I initially thought it was absorbed and redirected out. Like anything else this ship does, it like takes the energy, stores it, and then maybe shoots it back out again.
Right.
But if that were the case, I think Voyager A and Protostar would be destroyed.
Seems like it.
That having not happened would suggest that maybe this lattice of drone shield business that they did just absorbed it.
Yeah. Everyone sort of seems like they're adrift after bathing in warp lightning. We get like some reports that Voyager is totally fried, like their shields are down and they can't get them back up. We cut to Asencia, who is very delighted by the outcome of this situation. And it's revealed that she has a prisoner in Wesley Crusher wearing some kind of clip show device.
I am rather enjoying my new toys.
Answering the question I kind of had for a while, which is, where is Wesley Crusher? Why isn't he helping? Oh yeah, he's been taken prisoner. And he's in such a weakened state, he can't even say, hi, nerds. Maybe this thing has him by the throat in such a way he can't speak, though, either.
Sad. Did you like this episode of Star Trek Prodigy?
She'll always bring it home.
What a sad done at the end.
Yeah.
These are sad Ds.
Let's throw some sad Ds on this bitch.
I like that we're back into, like, the show does this thing where it like builds the stakes, we're safe. Builds the stakes, we're safe. We've been safe for a little bit now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to feel in danger again, and I feel in a great bit of it by the end of this episode. How are Bo and Luke gonna get out of this one? Hard to know, but I do love that they've split up. I love that Chakotay's on Protostar. I love that Janeway is on Voyager A. I love that Dal is out in a little fighter along with the rest of the kids.
Yeah.
Things get fun and unpredictable when the gang gets split up. So I'm really looking forward to how part 2 resolves, if it resolves. How many more episodes of Prodigy do we have? I
think we have 5 left.
Okay. So we're not really close to a resolution of the entire story, but hey, you have to bet. Does Wesley survive the season? Do they kill traveling Wesley Crusher? Which kind of like you could see as an album cover, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Did you get the new Traveling Wesley Crusher album?
Traveling Wesley Crusher, Ready to Die.
You ready, motherfucker?
There's a source visual for that of him sitting cross-legged playing Suck Disc or something. Like, that is an album cover that can be made.
Yeah.
My son!
Yeah, I'm going to bet no. I'm going to bet he doesn't die.
That would be way too traumatic for a kid's show.
Yeah, I don't think Wesley is killable in a kid's show.
Does anyone die this season? Good guys only, I mean.
Yeah, let's say Bribble dies, but in kind of like a heroic Bribble sacrifices everything to save the rest of the crew.
Yeah, that's a great idea. But Bribble is thrown like a football?
Yeah. Yeah, Bribble's like, send me, and Murph is the only one that can understand him.
One of the cetacean ops whales is like bleeding profusely out of a big hole. And the only thing hole size enough to stop the bleeding is a Bribble.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they put him in face first. I'm sorry, Bribble. You can only go face first. That's how your body works. You can't go ass first. That's the survivable way for you, but you're just shaped the wrong way.
Consider this as a whale having a bloody nose and you're a tampon. Okay, Bribble, this is how it's got to be.
Bribble, we hardly knew you, and that's why this is so easy for us.
You want to see if there's anything in the Priority 1 inbox, Adam?
Yeah, we'll see if there's anything we have to sacrifice so that the show can continue.
Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
Oh, there's nothing in there. It's just all whole. All whole and nothing to fill it with. Hopefully we come back and record Priority 1 messages for this episode because they are a great way to support the production of Greatest Trek.
Indeed.
MaximumFun.org/Jumbotron is how you do it.
Hey, Adam.
What's that, Ben?
Did you find yourself out? Bonus breaks.
Bonus Frex!
Bonus breaks.
Bonus Frex!
Bonus breaks.
Bonus We hear it in this episode. Chakotay's been gone for 10 years. Sure is nice to be back, wearing a crisp uniform, bathing in tubs again, around his special lady, which is weird because he's sort of been around her for the last 10 years in a very different way.
And only her. Yeah.
There has got to be a very adult tension to this that we are just not permitted to experience because it is too weird to spend 10 years with a hollow version of a person you're in love with, and then all of a sudden you're with the real thing, and it's all good? How could it be all good? There has to be moments during side-sitting at this meal where Chakotay fucks something up, because it was all good with Hollow Janeway when you did it like that.
Okay, here's a crazy theory.
Okay.
I know that they probably didn't have all the details of this storyline worked out when they introduced the character of Hologram Janeway in season 1.
Okay.
But is it possible that Aaron Walke and the Hagemans knew enough about what they wanted to have happen in season 2 that they intentionally made Hologram Janeway have the calzone hair to fully Leah Brahms her up for that?
That makes a ton of sense.
You know? Because what Chakotay has done far outstrips anything Geordi could be accused of.
And Geordi was accused of a very terrible crime.
It was a violation.
So far, Chakotay's been accused of nothing. He walks the ship a free man.
Let's just say Geordi walked so Chakotay could walk a free man.
I think my Barnus Frex is just the idea that there is so much more going on here than we can possibly understand. in a way that no child could or should have to confront. And this might be one of those, like, just for adults kind of things. Like, there's so little detail to it. Like, hey, that's just up to you guys to fill in the blanks, to shade in the colors and the depth to this. It's too big for a kid's show. This has become an obsession. Like, next time I talk to Aaron Walke, if he chooses to pick up his phone ever again, I'm going to ask about this.
Yeah, I'm curious.
What about you, Ben?
Yeah, I'll join you on the Chakotay square. You talked me into it. That's fucking wild. Thinking about what he done. And then at the pivotal point in this episode, he's like, I'm going to take a bunch of those kids and go fly this ship into danger. And everybody's like, great idea.
It's not just this episode. It's got to dull the moment for Chakotay when he finally sees Janeway actual again. Because he just saw her.
Yeah.
10 minutes ago.
Right over there.
There's nothing about her he's forgotten.
Yeah.
What a headfuck that is. Chakotay should be driven crazy by this. Anyway, Barnus Fricks for sure.
Yeah.
Chakotay.
Well, we like to end every episode of this show with a warning bois, Adam. This is where we express our gratitude for someone who has recommended the show in public, especially by leaving a nice review on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast app you use. But posting on social media works too. We really appreciate it. We're always keeping our eyes out for these. And hit him with something, Adam. What do we got today?
Prepare a buoy and launch it when ready.
Warning buoys.
An emergency buoy. A warning buoy.
Ben, I just read this one today from the Reddit. Is the Reddit good now? The Reddit's good. I'm there all the time, lurking. But there's a post from HeadPop2433.
Okay.
Headline, short-time viewer, first-time caller. And they're saying, I just discovered the Greatest Gen podcast a few weeks ago, randomly after I started my own TNG rewatch. And I just wanted to express how much I appreciate this show. I'm a millennial pushing 40, and I didn't know anyone else shared my mixed feelings of cheesy nostalgia, heartfelt admiration, and heart-wrenching cringe for this show. It's really fun to see how the hosts react to episodes and compare them to my own reactions. And the humor is top-notch!
Hey.
I can't wait to get to DS9 episodes, which I've seen a million times, being my favorite Trek series. Greatest Gen has become my bike commute to work podcast, which really speaks volumes. Thank you for brightening my 2025. I love this message because I think it's representative of the whole feeling we started the show with.
Totally.
Does anyone else feel this way about this show? Turns out, yes, there are legion of FODs out there who do. And HeadPop2433 is one of them. And just a ton of upvotes for this comment, a lot of agreement. This person has found new friends on the Reddit.
I love it. Thank you for that nice message, HeadPop. And thanks to anyone who leaves a nice comment about our show on the internet for others to find. With that, we are going to leave the show in Wynde's capable hands. Hope you listen to those credits. She's got a better voice than either of us.
Yeah, is Will Wheaton going to get out of the chains? How much longer can we keep Wesley Crusher locked up? We're about to find out.
Bye-bye.
Greatest Trek is an Uxbridge Shimoda podcast on the Maximum Fun Network. It's hosted by Ben Harrison and Adam Pranica, and it's produced and edited by Wynde Priddy. Ben and Adam will be back next week with a review of Star Trek Prodigy Season 2, Episode 16. It's called Ascension Part 2. Overwhelmed by Asencia's mysteriously advanced weaponry, the Protostar and Voyager crews take a series of calculated risks that endanger the cadets. Support for members is what keeps us taking calculated risks, so we want to say thanks to everyone making a monthly contribution. Members get monthly bonus episodes from Ben and Adam in return, as well as access to the entire back catalog of bonus content. It's quick and easy to set up a membership, and we really appreciate your support. MaximumFun.org/join. Thank you to Nick Ditmore, who created the show art, and Adam Ragusia, who composed the theme music. Thanks to Rob Adler and Bill Tilley for their work on the @GreatestTrek social media pages. Follow those accounts and use the hashtag #GreatestTrek when you post about the show. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week on Greatest Trek.
Maximum Fun,
a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows.
Supported
directly
by you.